Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about one of my stock picks for February. This stock is Wix, ticker symbol WIX. We will talk mainly about the company, their recent earnings report, their growth, the stock price itself, and my expectations. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm Adriana Gorrin and I talk mainly about stocks, investments, passive income, and personal finance. So please consider subscribing for more content and smashing that like button since it really helps the channel out. Also, I have a completely free Discord group chat, which the link for that is down in the description below. So Wix. I talked about Wix in the monthly series of stocks to buy this month, and to be honest, I did expect to see a nice run up after earnings, but not that much. Wix stock is currently trading at $347 per share pre-market hours with a market cap of $19.64 billion. As you can see, the stock has been having a kind of a steady growth year over year until 2020 and the pandemic arrived. Since March 2020, the stock has gone parabolic since e-commerce and online services started to see a massive growth from everyone working from home and going online. Then the stock started stabilizing and finally saw a major break and went up 42%. I did not get the chance to start a position after my video. I literally invested in all of the other 4 stocks I talked about in that video: Fubo TV, Facebook, Tattooed Chef, and Wish, but did not invest in Wix. So congrats to any one of you who did invest in. I'm not saying I won't, but I will definitely continue watching the stock. But what is Wix? What does the company do? Wix is a website creation platform. Very easy to use since it lets you create your own website without the need of knowing a single thing about coding. Obviously, I will be comparing this company with Shopify since they are very similar. The difference is that Shopify is mainly for e-commerce while Wix is more for vlogs or informative websites. It can also be used for e-commerce, but I think Shopify is a leader in e-commerce space. Now let's analyze Wix earnings and then we can compare it with Shopify. 2020 was their most successful year with over 31 million new registered users. We added nearly 1 million net new subscribers and we crossed $1 billion in annual collections for the first time. Then the CEO said, and I quote, "It is clear that we can now become a dominant player on the internet and I expect us to strengthen this position significantly over the coming decade." They reported a total revenue of $988.7 million for the whole 2020, very near to the $1 billion mark, but their creative subscription revenue increased 22% while their business solutions revenue grew 76% year over year. Now, Wix is a huge margin business. They only spent $167 million to generate over $783 million in creative subscription revenue and spent only $148 to generate $205 million for their business solutions sector. Obviously, their creative subscription side is way more profitable, but still it is a very impressive. They ended the year with $673 million, which means that the total gross margin was 68%. For 2019, it was a little bit better since it was 74%, but according to what they said, this decline was because they invested more money into customer care, hosting, and faster revenue growth of the business solutions segment, such as Wix Payment. Then, after all their expenses, they report a net loss of $216 million, which massively increased year over year since 2019. They had a net loss of $86 million. And this was mainly because of the increase in selling and marketing. Yes, research and development grew 27% and general and administrative about 30%, but selling and marketing grew a whopping 42%. So if their revenue grew 30% year over year and their expenses in marketing grew 42%, obviously we will see that growth in net loss as well. They are not a profitable company yet, but in the long-term view, I think we should expect them to be profitable in the coming years, sooner than later. They did spend a lot of money in advertising, as I said. I would assume most of you have seen tons of their ads here on YouTube, maybe in this video, and that is how I know they have been investing a lot of money in advertising. because I see one of their ads literally every other video. On their balance sheet, they have $165.8 million in cash and cash equivalents. They have short-term deposit of $577 million, marketable securities in current assets of $289 million, and in long-term assets, $536 million more. So they have total assets of $1.82 billion and total liabilities of $1.57 billion. Now, as I said at the beginning of the video, they crossed the $1 billion in collections for the very first time since they ended the year with $1.1 billion in collections. It increased 38% year over year, 25% growth for the creative subscription side, and a whopping 75% for the business solution side. Collections is mainly that they bill customers in advance and they take in that money but cannot recognize it as revenue until the end of the period, until they provide the service the customer is paying for, and then they take that money as revenue. Now, this year they ended with 196.7 million registered users and 5.49 million premium subscribers. Now, this is either good or bad depending on who is looking, because only 5 million out of the over 196 million members that are paid subscribers, so it is a good thing because all those subscribers could convert into a paid subscriber and continue seeing a massive growth over time. But the bad way of looking at this is that they only have 5 million members that are premium, meaning that a lot of people sign up for Wix and decide not to pay or feel like they do not need to select the pay version. I do think it is good because sooner or later, all those free subscribers will need to improve their website and would want to pay in order to have more features. For the 2021 guidance that they provided, they are expecting their revenue to finally cross over $1 billion and report a revenue of between $1.27 and $1.28 billion, which would be a growth of over 29 to 30% year over year. For the collection side, they are expecting to end up the year with $1.43 to $1.45 billion, which would be a growth of 30 to 32%. And for this quarter one, they are expecting a revenue of $291 million to $296 million, which would be a growth of 35 to 37% and a growth between 37 to 41% in collection. Now, Wix just launched Editor X out of beta and introduced a new suite of collaboration tools that enable concurrent editing, making it the only fully collaborative web creation platform in the world. There are already 200,000 users on Editor X. These newly introduced capabilities enable smarter collaborations between stakeholders and a seamless handoff to clients once a project is completed, meaning that this new feature could help customers take their website to the very next level and could definitely help with Wix growth. Now, remember that I told you at the beginning that they invested money into the business to see more growth? Well, it was because they implemented several significant product improvements to the Wix payments platform to improve the user experience and expand addition of account managers for high volume users, which I think it is excellent because that will make customers have less problems when using their payment method. Now, if we compare Wix with Shopify, Shopify has a market cap of $168.55 billion, while Wix $19.4 billion. Shopify reported a net revenue of $2.9 billion for the 2020, while Wix $988 million. So Shopify is 8.68 times bigger than Wix, but only has a revenue 2.9 times what Wix had. This means that revenue-wise, Wix is way better investment right now in comparison to Shopify, but we have to take into consideration that Shopify had a revenue growth of 86%, while Wix only 30%. So yes, Wix seems like a better deal right now and have a nice revenue growth, but Shopify has way better one year over year. Still, I do think that Wix is a nice investment in the long term and has a nice valuation. I think Wix could continue innovating their platform and start implementing new features to attract more clients. I think that in the long term, they could grow massively and expand to other industries. But remember, this is not financial advice, so you should do your due diligence. But even with this latest run up in the stock, I think it is a nice investment long term. Thank you everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please smash that like button and subscribe since it really helps the channel out. Also, remember I have a completely free Discord group chat, which the link for that is down in the description below, as well as the 2 free stocks that Webull is giving when you sign up with them. Sign up with them, open an account, and deposit $100. The link for that is the first one in the description below. Thank you, and see you next time.